Hello everyone, estate planning horror stories just in time for Halloween. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, that red button there below, to receive notification about future videos and future episodes. So let's start with episode 1. This one is about mom. Let's say she's a 72-year-old woman who lives on her own and who has lived on her own for a while now. Mom has 2 kids, daughter and son. Let's say son lives in the same state, an hour away, daughter lives out of state. We notice, son and daughter notice, that mom starts forgetting things. They talk to her on the phone and sometimes she seems okay, sometimes she doesn't. So son comes to visit for the summer for a week and starts noticing even more things. Mom doesn't remember certain people. She starts burning her food, let's say, so he starts getting worried, talks to sister and say, hey, I wonder what's going on. They say, well, she's probably just getting old. So let's fast forward 2 months later. Son comes to visit for Thanksgiving and finds a bunch of, let's say, unpaid bills on mom's desk and says, hey, mom, what's going on? And mom seems confused. She says, well, I've been meaning to pay those, but I keep forgetting, or she doesn't know what they are, so she's not sure what to do about them. So then you truly get worried. You take sister, you take mom, you go to the doctor, and unfortunately the doctor confirms that mom has dementia and is progressing rapidly. What do you do then? Well, you have 2 options. If it's not too late, ideally you get an estate plan in place, you get a power of attorney in place as to allow you or your sister to allow the child, for example, to access mom's bank accounts, to make medical decisions for mom, to check on mom's utilities, to have the authority to apply for benefits or to make changes on her insurance and so on. If it's too late, and sometimes it is too late, if people progress rapidly, it can be too late for them to sign estate planning documents if they don't know what they're doing. At that point, your only option is going in front of a judge, explaining the situation, showing medical records of mom, and ask the judge to appoint you as her guardian. So this is the horror part. First, it's expensive. Second, you have to travel. You have to take time off, you have to go in front of a judge, you have to file all kinds of things, you have to pay an attorney. Ideally, mom had an estate plan in place, had a power of attorney from before something like that happened. So don't wait until something happens. Then let's say mom passes 2 or 3 years later, power of attorney or a guardianship is in place, but that terminates when mom passes. Now, mom has never had a will or a trust or anything planned. That's, again, the horror part of it. Probate process will likely have to be initiated if mom had real property or if she had financial accounts without beneficiaries. So let's say she had a retirement account and she had dad as primary beneficiary and nobody else. Well, if dad predeceased, now she has no beneficiaries. The retirement company who is administering is asking for probate documents. So here we are spending hundreds of hours, thousands of dollars in courts trying to figure out what mom had, how to collect it, pay her debts, and settle her affairs. Do not put your family through this. If you are mom, or if you may become mom, or if you have a loved one who may be in that situation, have them look into getting an estate plan in place while they're well enough to go through that. It's not a complicated process. I know it can be daunting. I know people get nervous about talking about their personal affairs, but that's why we have free consultations, and we also do educational events at the Well here in Norman where they can just come in and just listen and learn about estate planning documents and options for the future. How do we turn a horror story in a happy ending story? Have an estate plan in place. Have a power of attorney where you designate who will be in charge if you become incapacitated, and then have a trust or have a plan in place for what happens when you pass, so the kids or your loved ones won't have to go through the court process to collect, pay debts, and administer your estate. Thank you for watching, and come back for episode 2.